Oh, yeah, you can play that funky music, just don't play it too loud. The volume cranked way up for teenagers, but they're hearing less. A new national study says that 1 in 5 teens has slight hearing loss, a big jump over numbers from the 90s. Some doctors blame loud music and earbuds. We're going to talk more about that in just a moment. But first, we just want to take a look at how loud is too loud. The decibel level considered safe is around 85 to 90. Your dishwasher hits about 60 on the meter. A busy subway, well, that's right up there at 90. But how about this? An ambulance siren hits 120. That's about the same as an iPod's max volume. Dr. John House is the president of the House Ear Institute. He's joining us live from Los Angeles. Doctor, have you seen that app on the iPod where you can actually measure the decibels? It's pretty fascinating.
Well, it is very interesting, and I'm just glad you've mentioned that it can get up to 120 decibels, because that's incredibly loud and potentially very damaging within just minutes.
So
as you mentioned, the maximum is 90 decibels for 8 hours, and every time you go up by 5 decibels, that cuts the exposure time by half. So by the time you get to 120, that's incredibly loud.
So what's going on? Is it the iPods and the MP3 players, and is it all the new technology that's doing this to our kids?
Well, I think it's that. It's the trend to have these teens listening to MP3 players by the hour and turning the volume up too loud. It's a combination of those. 10 years ago, when the previous study was out, we didn't have MP3 players. So we didn't see as much of this high-frequency, noise-induced type hearing loss that we're now seeing in adolescents.
And explain what exactly happens. Say when a teen has those earbuds in, they exceed the decibel that you say is normal, and they're doing that for, say, up to 8 or more hours a day. What actually happens in the ear canal?
Well, inside of the inner ear, it's inside of the cochlea, there are 15,000 delicate little what's called hair cells. Their job is to convert vibration to a nerve impulse. Well, they basically wear out, and they wear out first in the higher frequencies, which is above the conversational range. But as time goes on, this eventually erodes into the conversational range, and they begin to have trouble hearing the consonant sounds. So a warning right now, we know that it's causing damage. We need to educate teens, because this type of hearing loss is totally preventable, but it's not curable.
And how do we do that, doctor? What are you telling parents? What are you writing about? How do you get your teen to, I mean, if you walk through New York, everybody's got those earbuds in, and they have them in all day, and you can hear it, on the other side of the subway car. I mean, it's going to be really hard to convince people that this is, that it's not good for them.
Well, at the House Ear Institute, we have a program to try to educate teens into what we call safe listening. It's how you hear that counts, and that is keeping the volume down. There's nothing wrong with MP3 players. There's nothing wrong with listening to music through headphones. The problem is just the amount of the volume. We need to keep the volume at a reasonable level, which would be maybe half of the volume scale.
Dr. John House, president of the House Ear Institute, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
We decided to blog about this today, and we put this question out to you about, what are your ideas for convincing teens to really turn the music down? All right, here's what some of you said. Terrence said, give them earplugs to wear in their ears for a couple of hours to simulate impaired hearing, which will happen in years to come if they don't turn it down. Cecilia said, tell them to take out their earbuds and play their music through speakers. It might bother you at first if you're not into their music, but it worked for my kids. Mike said they should make manufacturers embed a switch that goes off automatically when the music exceeds certain decibel levels, sort of like mandating emission levels and mileage standards in cars and gasoline. Dee said there is no way to get the kids to turn down the loud music, period. Remember, we want to hear from you. Just log on to CNN.com/Kira, share your comments.